What exactly do you do as a marine biologist?
I work as a fisheries analyst for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department here in Corpus Christi. My job consists of keeping track of uh, fish and invertebrate populations. Uh, I also coordinate our fisheries independent sampling, which we do through uh, 9 field stations along the coast, and we collect close to 7,000 samples every year with different fishing gears. Um, uh, Through that program, we collect an enormous amount of data, and we have been collecting it since 1975. And a good portion of my job consists of analyzing that data to know what's the relative abundance of those species, and also the mean size that they have. Um, Other aspects of my job consist of coordinating programs that we have with the federal government. One of them is CMAP, which is the Southeast Area Monitoring and Assessment Program. I'm the Texas representative, and this program also collects fisheries independent data through a Gulf-wide scale, and there are also there are three portions to this program. There is the Southeast Atlantic, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean. So we make sure that all data uh, it's comparable within the whole Southeast US. And that program has also been running for a long time, since '85. And it's a very successful program that it helps whenever there is either a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, such as the Deepwater Horizon issue in 2010, I believe. And basically, we we make sure that all populations are not overexploited and kept within reasonable limits of fishing. Um, Other uh, uh, things I take care of is, for example, with particular fisheries, such as the shrimp fishery, I provide a biological opinion for closing and reopening uh, uh, Gulf shrimp seasons. And one last thing is quality control. I have to visit 2 field stations every year to make sure that the data we collect is consistent throughout the whole coast. And basically, that's what I do.
Okay. And was working as a marine biologist something you had always wanted to pursue as an undergraduate student?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, way before starting college, I have made my mind to be a marine biologist. It's something I wanted to do with actually before getting into high school, and I always wanted to do that. It was very attractive to work in biology, and in particular marine biology.
What was it that made you want to pursue a career in biology?
I'd say the ability to work with organisms, and in particular the aquatic environment, was always fascinating for me. I always had fish tanks, and in the beginning I was very interested in aquaculture, then it switched to mariculture, and later on it was uh, more related to coastal fisheries and fishing uh, regulations and analysis in general. But yeah, I'd say I always had that vocation to work and care for animals in particular, and focus on aquatic organisms.
What was it like studying biology? Can you recall a time where it was difficult and how you overcame it?
Uh, in general, I had very good memories of my college years. Um, I on my second semester, I started taking scuba classes that were available at the university, and many of the classes involved field trips, which I really liked to travel and to be on the different aquatic environments, fresh water and coastal environments. So it was I'd say it was very pleasant. I enjoyed those years. To be honest, I can't recall something that I would say would be difficult. Other than, I mean, some classes are more challenging than others, but it was what I recall is I do enjoy doing all my biological sciences classes, and not so much other ones in other fields.
Do you believe that all your biology classes that you went through in your undergraduate studies prepared you well for your career?
Yes, I'd say, and in general terms, yes. But nowadays, if you want just to go um, through college and start in uh, biological sciences field, you're probably gonna be prepared just to be a technician or stay in an entry level position. It's there's a lot of competition, so most likely you'll need to go for a for grad school, and that will prepare you better for what you want to do, and people in general will take you more seriously if you go to grad school.
What are employers typically looking for when they're hiring for a career in marine biology?
Well, of course, they look for somebody who has the background, who who went to college or is in college, uh, uh, doing a biological sciences related career, and it will put you in a better position if you already have some previous experience working or volunteering, or if you have experience with boats or uh, many other sort of tools and the vehicles that might be useful for either fisheries or wildlife.
What advice would you give to a current biology student wanting to pursue a similar career?
When you're in college, it may be very useful if you contact your local fisheries and wildlife agency and try to volunteer during the summer terms. That's uh, I've seen college professor making that recommendation, and it's extremely useful if you have previous experience working with with one of these agencies. It will, even if either if you want to go to academia and work in a college or university, or if you want to stay with one of the fish and wildlife agencies, it will give you a lot of experience, real life experience, and it will put you in a advantage to have that previous experience. It could, and these positions could be either paid or unpaid, but it's very important that you contact your local fish and wildlife agency.
What would you say has been your best experience you have had working as a marine biologist?
Well, there are many. I recall in 2006 I went on this cruise with NOAA. It was a 2-week cruise where I actually volunteered, and I went on the last 2 weeks of the cruise. It was a 2-month cruise that they were doing a bottom long line survey to catch mainly sharks, and it was extremely exciting to go there and to actually handle a huge amount of sharks. This survey ran 24 hours a day. I was working a 12-hour shift from noon to midnight, and again for 2 weeks non-stop. And it was way offshore. We didn't see land for those couple of weeks. It was an amazing experience. And after that, as a coincidence, I was in charge of selecting our people to go on this same cruise every year. And a few years later, in '08 actually, I was able to implement this same survey protocol to our as one of our survey methods. So basically, we now, through this program I mentioned before, CMAP, we collect the same data. The federal government is collecting continues with this survey, which started in the early to mid 90s, and now we started in '08, and all the other Gulf states are also conducting this bottom long line survey. So it's again, it's a very nice effort, a coordinated effort to collect data with the same methodology, and making it very consistent. And all this information is available to anybody, to any scientist, free of charge. And it's in this case, it's been handled by the Gulf States Marine Fisheries Commission in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. So basically, I'd say that participating in this survey and then being able to implement the same survey at my workplace.
What do you think are some positives and negatives about a career in marine biology?
Well, I'd say that for sure the positives outweigh any other negative. The positives is that you have a lot of freedom. You have a chance to work on the field, to be outside. In my case, to be at sea. Though most of my time is spent in my office, I do have this chance to go out on a regular basis and interact with living organisms and the marine environment in general. Plus, you are working with like-minded people who do care about the environment, who do care about uh, similar uh, issues that you care about. On the negative side, of course, is pay. Pay is not huge, is not one of the uh, leading uh, careers in terms of pay. And part of the reason is that there is usually more, as mentioned before, there's a lot of competition and the field is relatively narrow. There are not that many fish and wildlife agencies, and there's also private sector companies who you can work. But in general terms, you do really have to be at the top of your game to make a decent salary.
Was your job what you thought it would be like when you were in college?
Yes, I'd say in general terms, yes. It's I'd say it was very interesting because just when I graduated, this job opened, and I applied and I got it. So I didn't have to send way too many applications, and the job I have now, it was very closely related to what I did my dissertation on during grad school. So it was very useful. The statistical package I learned to use in grad school was the same one that my supervisor, the science director, uses, and the one that we use within the agency as a whole, which is SAS, and it was very useful to have knowledge of that and to be able to apply it to analyzing our data now. So yeah, basically, and of course, when you pursue a career in marine biology, you always either want to work with, well, could be fish, could be marine mammals, could be, you always have a particular interest, and being able to work with sharks, in my case, it's like a dream come true.
Is there anything that you wish you knew before going into your career?
Well, I'd say to be in this field, usually you need to be more on the idealistic side, and really want to make a difference and dedicate your life to helping the environment. But it's important to know about that huge competition. You need to know that it's if you really like it, it's a commitment for life. It's most likely you'll need to go to grad school. Most likely you'll face this huge competition, and most likely pay won't be huge. You'll have to be aware of that and to be comfortable knowing that like that. It's I really like what I do.
Okay. That's about all our time for the interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.